Hi, friends. Welcome to Love Good Lane. My name is Matthew. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to do a Get Ready with Me, and we're starting with the Laura Geller. What is it called? It is Laura Geller Double Take Liquid Foundation, and this is sort of a rediscovery for me. I had some. What I had before expired, and so I hadn't used it in a while. But I got my repurchase a few days ago and decided to use it, and I really love it. It's lightweight, great coverage. It does look a little bit, and I have it in the shade light. It does look a little yellow here on camera at the moment, but after it dries down and we trust the process and do the other things we do, it looks great. I'm very pleased once again with this foundation. Like I said, great coverage. It's lightweight, blends well. I'm using a blending brush, foundation brush from Nicole Beauty. I also decided to put it on my eyelids as an eye primer instead of using a separate eye primer today. We're going to add a little bit more up top. You may have noticed in this video or some of my recent videos that I usually don't put foundation on my upper lip under my nose or on my chin, sort of my beard area. I usually shave every other day, and sometimes I will put foundation there if it's a day where I have shaved, but I usually don't if I have not shaved, because as my beard grows in throughout the day, it just looks a little weird. So I usually don't do that. Now I'm using some loose powder. It's by Ku by Kai. Unfortunately, that brand is out of business, but it's an excellent powder, very finely milled. And I'm tapping off my brush and then very gently going around and setting that foundation. Especially because I want to use a baked powder blush and bronzer, actually, and I want to do some powder eyeshadow. And so, as you may or may not know, we have to blend powder with powder. And since that was a liquid foundation, we want it to be the best it can be. Okay, so now I'm using the Maybelline Express Brow pencil. I don't remember what color, but it doesn't matter because it's the wrong one. You'll see in a minute or two, this color is just too dark for me. I think I'm going to get rid of this, which pains me because I don't like to get rid of stuff until I'm at the end of it or nearing the end. But it's just too dark. You'll see me here in a minute do a few things to try to lighten it, and it's okay, it's better, but it's just too dark. With my fair complexion and my bald head, I don't like to have super dark brows because to me, when I look at my face, even when I've completed all my makeup, that's what I see first is, whoa, brows. And that's not really what I want. But today, we made it work. There's an appearance by my husband in the background. Looks like he's collecting up the laundry. If you've watched any of my recent videos, you know that I'm still on a brow journey. trying to find the right product in the right color. I'm getting there. I do like the new Dull 10 brow pencil that I got in taupe. That's a good one. I have very little hair left in the tail of my brow there at the end. It kind of looks here in this video like I need to extend that tail a little bit. I'm not sure why I didn't. It might be that I did, you just can't see it as much. Some of my brow hair is very long and I have to trim it. But I also have some patches where I don't have any hair left, and then some of it is gray or silver. So we got all kinds of issues going on. Okay, now I'm using the other end of this Maybelline Express Brow, which is a sponge tip and it's a powder. Honestly, I'm not really sure if it is doing anything, but I'm just kind of using it to sort of buff and fill in. Obviously, right now the brows are too dark because I haven't done anything else to my face. Okay, now we're using the Dull 10 Refocus Glow. We're going to put some bronzer on. I'm starting under the cheekbone. If I haven't put foundation on that lower part of my face, using some bronzer also helps with the transition between the stubble bearded face and the put some makeup on your face. Obviously, for most of you, you're not going to have that issue with facial hair. So I do like to bronze, warm it up on my noggin, but I've started to do it a little higher, not so much on the temple, because as we know, dark recedes, light brings out, and so I don't want to put darkness on my temples, because as we age, we are already starting to sort of recede in that area, and I don't want to take that even further. So I went above my temples. Here I'm using a smaller brush to add a little bit of bronzer, a little contour to my nose. And I saw from a video from Michelle Spieler, something like that. Her channel is Mature Makeup Masterclass. She has a lot of great tips. She suggested taking that bronzer from your nose and going up into the crease of the eye. It kind of blends your whole look together with your contour and your eyeshadow. And I like that. Okay, it's the same palette. It's the Dull 10 Refocus and Glow. Switching brushes. Or am I? No, we don't know what I'm doing. Oh yeah. I changed my mind. We're going to do blush first. This is Laura Geller, the Marbleized Blush, in the shade Apricot Berry. This is a beautiful blush. It has a little bit of a sheen to it in that it's not sparkly, but it's not matte. It's somewhere nice in between. And the shade is great. It's got some golden-y tones in it, but it's also got that nice sort of berry, rosy. Now I know it looks a little crazy at the moment, a little clownish, but don't worry, I'm going to blend. We got to trust the process. My goal is always to harmonize it so that it all coordinates together, so that it looks nice, but you don't necessarily look at me and go like, wow, look at that blush. I just used a big fluffy brush. I think that's a Wet n Wild. It's an older brush that I've had a long time. Okay, now we're going back. We're going to do a little bit of the highlighter. I like to put it just a little bit at the top of my cheeks. Kind of bring my cheeks out. I don't like to put my blush directly on my apples too close to my nose because I have a little bit of a narrow face and I want to separate those. If I do too much darkness in the center of my face, it kind of brings it all together. So I don't want to do that. Okay, here you can see me with it's actually a concealer brush. Oh, there's Ramsey saying hi. Cutie. Aw. But I was taking that concealer brush and I just used the powder that was left on the brush from before, and I just kind of tapped it into those brows to try to lighten it a little. Now I'm using the Laura Geller Kajal Longwear Eyeliner. I believe this is the shade Toasted Coal. And I ran a little bit under the eye, and now I'm doing the top of the eyelid and then smudging it. You do have to work quickly with this one because it'll dry down. But it'll dry down pretty quickly. But the nice thing is that it won't budge. It's not going to move. Now, the other thing I will say is that, like with many makeup products, the first 10 to 30 minutes, it will soften in its color. It'll sort of meld. Okay, now I'm using the Disney Princess Ariel palette. I can't seem to find on the packaging who made it. I found the company Taste Beauty. I'm not sure what that means. I haven't heard of them before. I don't know if that's a subsidiary, but I did get it at TJ Maxx. So as you can see, I'm wearing a blue, it's a blue linen button down on top of my yellow tank. And so I found this nice turquoise color that coordinates nicely. Again, I know I look a little crazy at the moment. We'll talk more about that in a second, but I will blend it out and add and subtract, don't worry. I don't typically go for this strong of a color on my eye, but I don't know, I was just inspired today. And that's just a clean, fluffy shadow brush and blending. Blending. And then I had to edit it out because my husband made another post-shower appearance, which we don't want on the video. But I added there's a deeper tone, turquoise teal, that I added in the crease, and there I just finished buffing it in a little bit, blending it. There we go. I found it. This is the Laura Geller Incredible eyeliner. It's in the shade Brown Sugar. And I'm not really doing a wing. I guess you could call it sort of a wing. I'm just taking that liner on the base of the lashes, and I don't like to go all the way into the corner of my eye. Again, I like to open out my face, so I don't like a whole lot of dark things in the center. But I'm starting maybe midway and just putting it at the base of the lashes, and then instead of following my lash line, which actually curves down on the sides at the end, I'm just taking it straight across, and it looks like in the video, it looks like I'm actually taking it up, but I'm not. It's actually straight across, but it does give a nice lift to the eye. That reminds me, I should do that technique more often. I like that. I like how it looks. And the nice thing about these Incredible liners from Laura Geller is that it is a small pencil or a small liner and a smaller tip, so it's a little bit easier to get it on that lash line just where you want it. And if I need to smudge it a little bit to sort of blur it out, that's okay. Try not to do harsh lines on my face. I have kind of crinkly, starting to be hooded eyes, and so it's harder to do those lines anyway. Okay, this is the Laura Geller Cover Effects setting spray in Dewy, and I recently watched a video by Risa Does Makeup, I think it was her, in which she said that most people don't use enough setting spray for it to really be effective. So I really took myself through the car wash there, as you can see. Whoa, that might be a little too much the other way, but that's all right. We're set. Using my fan to try to dry that down. This is my favorite of my eyelash curlers. It's by Refer. It does have a number. I don't think I remember which number it is, but do I always curl my lashes? No, I don't. But it does add a nice lift, I think, to my eye. I think I'm going to remind us what mascara I'm using here in a second. At least I hope. Does anybody else have the issue with mascara where your eyelashes are sort of tangled and or kinky? I've tried to use a spoolie and a lash comb before I put on any products to try to separate them and get them tamed, but it doesn't always work. I don't know what that is. I have like permed curly lashes or something. Oh, there we go. It's the Milani. Oh gosh, I was going to say the wrong one. It's the Milani Highly Rated. There we go. I like that mascara a lot. It's probably in my top 5. But you know me and favorites. I have a lot of them. There, what do we think? That looks nice. And lastly, I'm using one of my new e.l.f. satin lipsticks in No Regrets. And there's the finished product. Thanks for joining me. See you next time. Love you guys.